Floating on water is as old as human history itself. In ancient times, when people must have seen a tree trunk floating in a river, they would have realized that wood can float on water. In those days, people rode on such tree trunks to cross rivers. Later, they joined many pieces of wood together to make a large platform on which several people could sit, and goods could also be transported from one place to another. Soon, human need made it clear that this method was not very safe. So people began joining planks together to form hollow wooden boats or canoes, in which 4 or 6 people could travel. The use of sails also began during this period. Until then, boats moved only with the flow of the river, but with the invention of sails, they could also be sailed against the current. After humans had crossed rivers and lakes, brave sailors began to take their boats a short distance out to sea along the coast. The land route from Europe to the Indian subcontinent passed through Islamic countries, and goods coming through these routes were taxed by those countries. As a result, items reached India at very high prices. Therefore, Europeans began searching for sea routes through which they could travel to India without any obstacles. They built ships, and sailors undertook sea voyages that led to the discovery of many new routes and new lands. In fact, sea travel was the greatest source of Europe's development. After some time, ships began to be used regularly for trade and travel. To protect ships from sea rocks, lighthouses were built at various locations. To determine directions, the compass came into use, whose needle always points north. The difficulty with sailing ships was that they could not be sailed against the wind, and even a minor storm posed the risk of sinking them. The first attempts to power boats with steam were made by the French inventor Denis Papin and the English inventor Thomas Newcomen. In 1785, the Marquis de Jouffroy, a Frenchman, succeeded in building a steam-powered boat. In 1789, in England, 3 men, Symington, Taylor, and Miller, jointly conducted experiments to build steam-powered boats. In 1807, the American Robert Fulton built a steam-powered ship. This ship made its first voyage on the Hudson River, traveling from New York to Albany at a speed of 4.5 miles per hour. Gradually, the shipbuilding industry continued to advance, and steamships began to be built in other European countries as well. The first steamship to cross the Atlantic Ocean in 1838 was named Sirius. It also had sails so that less fuel would be consumed. In 1811, England launched a ship called Great Britain. Its engines were very powerful, and it could carry a large amount of cargo. After that, new research in shipbuilding was carried out, and within a short time, sea travel became comfortable and safe. Although ships had largely overcome storms, the danger of sinking still remained. Eventually, an Englishman named Lionel Lucan invented a lifeboat. Over time, he improved it and removed its flaws. In emergencies, Lucan's lifeboat was able to safely rescue 25 people from the sea. Every ship is equipped with multiple lifeboats and life belts. In the event of an accident, the crew puts on life belts, lifeboats are lowered into the sea, and passengers sit in them. If a lifeboat is destroyed at sea, people can still save their lives with life belts. These belts prevent a person from drowning. When oil-powered engines were invented, they were also installed in ships, greatly increasing their speed. In modern times, most ships run on diesel fuel. There were plans to operate passenger ships using nuclear power, but this was considered dangerous and therefore abandoned. However, the United States and Russia did build nuclear-powered submarines. Today's ships provide many comforts and facilities for passengers, including movie theaters, sports areas, and swimming pools. Separate ships are built for warfare, equipped with military hardware and artillery. These ships are also used to transport troops from one place to another. Aircraft can be stationed on ships and can take off and land from them. The shipbuilding industry is very vast, and is also a major means of trade between countries. It is almost impossible to imagine global trade without sea routes. Because of the importance of maritime routes, efforts to secure access to them have given rise to rivalry between the United States and China. This rivalry is evident in the South China Sea, the Indian Ocean, and other seas.